You're watching ABC 7 News at 4, starting with First Alert Weather.
Good afternoon. I hope you're having a great one at that. We've had a period of showers and a few thunderstorms occasionally, some sunshine, not much, and it's all a result of a trough of low pressure. And good afternoon. Here's your First Alert weather update here at ABC 7 News at 4. Heavy rain to the north of us, and we're talking the potential for some flooding issues, I think, going on across north central Florida, and that's a result of this trough of low pressure and frontal boundary. Combination of that and additional moisture added in. Looks like heavy rain expected for the next several days at least over North Florida. We're going to see a little less action down here, but still we will get occasional showers and a few thunderstorms, I think, over the upcoming days. Right now that rainfall is thinning out a bit. We've had some heavy rain near Bradenton, also near Parrish and Ellenton, Palmetto and Lakewood Ranch. Right now the heaviest shower is located near Siesta Key, near Lido, downtown Sarasota, and another one there at I-75 in between State Road 70 and 64. That one's starting to wind down, but coming down pretty heavy now. Bee Ridge and 41, South Sarasota, also at Lido and elsewhere, some heavier storms to the north of us now. And we are looking at the potential for some moderate to heavy showers occasionally throughout the afternoon and evening tomorrow again. Right now it's raining at the airport, 81. At least we have some cooler temperatures around. Jacqueline, Scott?
All right, Bob, thank you. New developments in the case of a 71-year-old man who died from a gastrointestinal illness. We first reported that he died from flesh-eating bacteria. Florida Health Department has reached out to ABC 7 clarifying that he died after consuming flesh-eating bacteria on an oyster. The man ate the bad oyster on July 8th and then died 2 days later from a gastrointestinal illness. The name of the restaurant has not been released. In other news, the lingering red tide bloom along parts of the Sun Coast continues to have an impact on sea life and on beachgoers. The
toxic algae also affecting some area businesses as well. ABC 7's Rebecca Fernandez is live from Venice Beach this afternoon with more on this story. Rebecca?
Hey guys, well, on a beautiful day like today, Venice Beach should not be this empty. But I've seen so many people get here, immediately start coughing and pack up, heading back to their cars. And that's been the same scenario today from beach to beach. Beachgoers abandon their plans because they just can't fight through the smell and the sore throats. The beach guy in Inglewood rents chairs and beach equipment, and he says the red tide is also hurting his business and many others.
Actually, it's terrible. We've probably been open 4 days out of the past 3 weeks. We get here to open up, we evaluate the situation while we're here, and if it's pretty bad, we have to close up because we don't want to subject any of the people that help us or myself to these conditions out here at the beach.
And he's just one of many business owners who are hurting because of this red tide. And I'll have more on that tonight at 6 o'clock. Live in Venice, Rebecca Fernandez, ABC 7, your Suncoast News. Back to you guys.
All right, Rebecca, thank you. Some breaking news in Sarasota County at this hour. Right now, the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office is responding to some sort of disturbance on Siesta Key. The Sheriff's Office isn't saying much now. Only the deputies were alerted to the discharge of a firearm on Contento Street around 2 o'clock this afternoon. All parties are accounted for and no one was hurt. We have a crew on the way and we'll bring you more information as we get it. New at 4, a huge mess is all that's left at a Christian ministry in Bradenton. The executive director for the nonprofit Downtown Ministries says someone went through their trash can and then emptied everything out. A Facebook post says the donations were thrown all over the street and urinated on. Food was smashed and all the clothing bags were ripped open. The executive director of the nonprofit tells us she hasn't filed a police report yet, but will ask police to patrol that area at night. In less than 2 hours from now, the Northport Police Department will swear in their new police chief. Chief Todd Garrison will be sworn in at about 6 o'clock tonight. The 45-year-old is a third-generation law enforcement officer and has 26 years of law enforcement experience. Jacqueline now joins us for the latest on that Thai soccer team and the lessons they learned throughout their ordeal. Jacqueline?
Scott, the Thai soccer team trapped in that flooded cave for more than 2 weeks is now out of the hospital and sharing their story for the first time. The 12 boys and their coach have been under close supervision since they were rescued on July 10th. The team made their first public appearance today. They took a minute to kick some soccer balls around to show how well they've recovered.
But this experience teach me Okay, not to live life, okay, carelessly. We should plan carefully before do anything, because it can actually affect us in the negative and positive way.
The boys and their coach appeared alongside their doctors and the Thai Navy SEALs who stayed inside the cave with them once they were found. Some of the boys say they still dream of becoming soccer players, but they also now want to become Navy SEALs. Meanwhile, Elon Musk is apologizing for calling one of the men who helped rescue those Thai boys soccer team a pedophile. The spat started when a cave rescue diver called Musk's kid-sized submarine a PR stunt and said it would never work. A wave of criticism then followed, and the Tesla and SpaceX CEO apologized on Twitter. He noted that Vernon Unsworth provoked him, but said his response was unjustified. Unsworth now says he is considering legal action. A U.S. Secret Service agent who died over the weekend is on his way back to the U.S. 42-year-old Noel Ramadan was protecting National Security Advisor John Bolton when he had a stroke during President Trump's trip to Scotland. The agent was quickly attended to by a White House doctor and colleagues before being rushed to Queen Elizabeth University Hospital, where he later passed away. Ramadan had served with the agency for 19 years. A U.S. official says North Korea is expected to return the first group of possible remains of U.S. service members on July 27th. Last month, U.S. leaders announced North Korea would return U.S. troop remains from the Korean War. The July 27th date is significant to North Korea. On that date in 1953, Chinese, North Korean, and UN forces signed an agreement establishing the demilitarized zone currently separating North and South Korea. Well, let's send it back to Scott with the details of a deadly plane crash over the Florida Everglades that happened yesterday. Scott?
Jacqueline New at 4. A fourth body has now been found at the site of that South Florida plane collision. Authorities identifying the last victim as 22-year-old Carlos Scarpati. Also killed in the crash, 22-year-old Jorge Sanchez, 72-year-old Ralph Knight, and 19-year-old Nisha Sujwal. The two planes collided midair about 9 miles west of Miami Executive Airport over a remote, swampy area. Both planes belong to a South Florida flight school. The foundation that's building the memorial at the site of the Pulse nightclub shooting in Orlando is now looking for design ideas. The memorial will honor the 49 people who were killed at that nightclub. The One Pulse Foundation is looking for ideas on how best to remember the victims and educate visitors about tolerance. Organizers say the ideas should touch on architecture and landscape. Submissions will be accepted through the end of August. Coming up on ABC 7's News at 4, the CEO of Papa John's explaining what happened during a conference call that made him resign, a choice he's now regretting. Plus, wedding photos that are going viral, a creative way the bride eased her groom's nerves before their big day.
A Bradenton summer camp is in the middle of a controversy. Several parents now claiming negligence. I'll have a live report just ahead.
There was this big bruise on my friend's face. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to think her own nephew could have hit her.
I didn't want to see it. My mother's bank account was emptied, and a caregiver had taken control of it.
I didn't want to see it. My father's refrigerator, there was hardly anything in it. That's unusual for him.
It's tough to see that a senior citizen is being abused, physically, emotionally, sexually, or financially. Elder abuse is a crime.
So see the signs. Stop the crimes.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to mesobook.com.
Here we go. We're going to go out there in the rain. You're going to get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh, yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah.
Hello, I'm John Merce. Rugs As Art is celebrating yet another anniversary, and I would personally like to thank each and every one of you for the many years of continuous support. All during the month of July, we're having a grand celebration. We have flooded our showroom with yellow tag specials, meaning more discounts and more savings than ever before, plus free padding. So don't miss this anniversary celebration at Rugs As Art, Sarasota's bigger and better area rug superstore.
My name is Haley. I have Fragile X syndrome. I work with Chartwells at Einstein's and FAU. I like being up front and interacting with students. The students are very nice and very hungry.
A follow-up now to a story we first brought you last week about a 7-year-old Manatee County boy hospitalized after he was left alone at a summer camp. Tonight, more allegations from parents saying their kids were also left behind at that same camp. ABC 7's Jess Dowdrick joins us live from GT Bray Park in Bradenton tonight, where this summer camp is held. And Jess, what are these other parents now saying about their children's experiences?
Scott, after we aired our story last Friday about 7-year-old Carter, who was found asleep here on the playground, I received calls and emails from about half a dozen parents who claim their kids were also left behind at this same camp. This is 5-year-old Angelo. His mother, Katie Pinion, says he came home from camp during the first week saying he was left behind on the playground. She says no one told her about it, so she questioned counselors when she took him to camp the next day. Marcus Francis, director of the camp, claims that while Angelo was left behind by his class, it was because he was hiding on the playground. Francis says he was made immediately aware of the situation and coached Angelo back inside. Pinion ended up pulling her son out of camp, claiming it's not safe. She wants to see this summer camp shut down.
I think that honestly, children could have been more hurt in these situations than what they are willing to admit.
Coming up at 5 o'clock, you'll hear from a parent who actually had someone walk off of this playground with her child. At 6 o'clock, you'll hear what this camp director has to say. For now, reporting live in Bradenton, Jess Dowdrick, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
All right, Jess, thank you so much. Now let's go to the newsroom where Jacqueline is taking a look at some of the stories that are trending today. Jacqueline?
Scott, we all know firsthand how unbearable heat can be, especially here in Florida. But one bear in California is taking that to another level. He was looking for any way possible to cool down. A neighborhood in LA was on lockdown as the black bear went from yard to yard trying to get some relief from the hot sun. Over the fence and through the woods to the neighbor's pool he went for 9 whole minutes. The bear sent police on a wild chase for hours before he was finally tranquilized and returned to his real home in the wild. And an Arizona couple's wedding photos are going viral for a bit of a different reason. The bride's soon-to-be husband was a little nervous about seeing his bride in her wedding dress for the first time, so she asked her brother for the ultimate wedding favor, to wear her wedding dress and then surprise the groom for their first look wedding pictures. It was definitely not the blonde that he thought he was expecting. That post has thousands of shares and likes and more than 1 million interactions. Well, San Francisco officials are telling fans flocking to the Full House home to just cut it out. After years of traffic complaints by neighbors, the city's transportation agency voted to ban tour buses near the famous home. People who live in the neighborhood say scores of fans park illegally and then block driveways on the narrow street. The ban is expected to go into effect later this summer. Well, let's send it back to Scott for some details on the latest on that controversy surrounding Papa John's. Scott?
Jacqueline, the John behind Papa John's, now says stepping down from the company he founded was a mistake. John Shatner Schnatter resigned as chairman of the board after using a racial slur during a conference call, but in a letter to the board, he said he used the word only to describe how other people spoke in the past. New warnings about what new tariffs could do to the price of cars, with the Trump administration considering a 25% tariff on cars built outside the United States. The Alliance of Automobile Manufacturers now says that would raise the average price of an import by nearly $6,000. Some dealers say they're already stockpiling cars just in case. Europe has slapped Google with a record-breaking fine. The tech company ordered by the European Commission to pay $5 billion. The Commission says Google unfairly pushed its apps on smartphone users by requiring manufacturers to install its Google Search and Chrome apps as a condition for licensing their app store. The Commission has ordered the company to stop its current practices within 90 days or face additional fines. Google says it will appeal. Now let's get our first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob?
Scott, it hasn't been the best of beach days. On again and off again clouds and showers and even an isolated thunderstorm or two. Nothing severe, but continues to move in. We have the steady west wind, a southwest wind. You can see these clouds and showers building occasionally. There's one that goes by just north of Casey Key and another one building right there getting set to move on. Looks like just north of Casey Key. A frontal boundary and a trough is going to bring a rain and a lot of it across north central Florida. Now, we are going to see some of that heavy rain here at times, but not nearly as much as, say, north of Interstate 4. Rain chances will be higher there. And then overnight and morning coastal storms are possible. It looks like over the weekend. This is going to be the same kind of pattern with this west wind and a persistent trough to our north. You can see they're moving off to the east-northeast at around 10 to 15 miles an hour. We've had some rain near Anna Maria, also in Bradenton, northwest Bradenton, getting some rain up near Parrish. That has since moved on. Another shower, that's one we just saw on the camera that we just, the webcam, the beach cam there at Casey Key. This is the shower that's developing. It's moving to the northeast. So folks in Palmer Ranch, you're going to see a little bit of this rainfall. And we're seeing the rain now from Bee Ridge northward to Fruitville and places to the west. This one's now generating a few lightning strikes too. So be on the lookout for that. Siesta Key just had a brief shower there, move on through. And as far as the motion goes, it's moving basically to the east, that particular cell. And you can see from the rainfall estimates today, it's been scattered about. Osprey not getting a lot, but you're about to get some. Venice got a little bit of rainfall earlier, nearly a half-inch southwest of Duet, a tenth of an inch at Anna Maria, and northwest Bradenton pretty much a quarter inch or less in those areas. So right now it's kind of patchy out there and sporadic, but we have a lot of moisture content in the atmosphere. It's all the dry air is well down to our south now, and with that persistent trough in place here, just enough lift created by that trough will generate more showers and storms occasionally through the overnight hours like we saw last night. As far as the forecast goes tonight, expect just a few brief showers around and maybe an isolated thunderstorm. Then we'll see more. 3:30, this is showing showers developing in the Gulf and moving onshore right around sunrise, pushing off to the east and still lingering even up to the noon hour. They're going to be hit or miss. Not everyone's going to get the rain. It's not a widespread rainfall event for us. Different story to the north, though. I think it will be a concern as they're expecting anywhere from possibly as high as 3 to 5 inches of rainfall over the course of the next couple of days there as it makes its way to the northeast. You can see all that heavy rainfall depicted there on Friday. We'll be just to the south of that heavy rain, but we'll still see some here. Don't think we're not going to get any out of it. We certainly are. One thing it has done, the clouds and showers kept things a little bit cooler around town, although where it's not rained, it's still hot. Northport at 90. 89 at Mayaca City. The Gulf water temperature at 88 degrees, 90 at Punta Gorda. And that wind, it stays out of the west-southwest on Thursday, Friday, and even into Saturday and Sunday. And that means we're not going to see those typical afternoon and evening storms coming back toward the west coast later in the day. Right now, despite the fact it's 82, it still feels like the normal 90. That's our actual temperature that we would normally expect, 90 degrees. For boaters, winds will be out of the southwest at 5 to 10 knots. Not much change there. A light chop on the bays and inland waters. The extended forecast then calling for a good chance for spotty showers and a few isolated thunderstorms, similar to what we saw today on Thursday. Friday, it goes to 40%. Saturday, a little drier conditions start to settle in, but still that rain chance at 30%. And then we get back into some pretty high chances Sunday through Wednesday of next week. Download the weather app. That's what we keep telling you to do because we want you to be safe during this storm season as well as hurricane season. So far, it's been fairly quiet ever since Alberto for us here along the west coast of Florida. But as we head into August and September, we are expecting storms to pop up here and there in the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean. Really quite warm now as far as the temperatures go, and that'll be the favorite area for development, I think.
Okay, we'll watch for that. Let's talk about the weather scene in California. Still a problem for wildfires there. Crews bracing for the winds to pick up back there, where a wildfire near Yosemite National Park has grown now to more than 13,000 acres. It's called the Ferguson Fire, and it's been spreading quickly since it started on Friday. The wildfire claimed the life of a man over the weekend. He was helping cut fire lines when his bulldozer overturned.
There's no end in sight either as forecasters, and I've been checking it out, and nothing's expected. It's going to stay hot and dry. It's going to go into next week, and so no real threat of any kind of heavy rainfall to help the crews there. The crews are working from the air to put the fire out, and when they can at times, the thick smoke has kept them grounded for the most part because of the smoke just going so high up into the atmosphere.
Yeah. Well, check this out. The extreme heat from a brush fire in California created a vortex that some people call a firenado at the Colorado River. A couple in Blythe caught the moment. The fire leaped across the river and then created the spinning vortex. Now, as the firenado spun across the water, it turned into sort of a water spout. The heat from the fire continued to fuel the spin of the water spout. So, Bob, this is sort of similar to what we saw and showed you yesterday with the dust devils.
It is. It's really a fire devil, they call it, because it's the same kind of scenario. Get a look what's happening. You get the extreme heat of the fire, and then you've got the water, which the temperature is cooler. So you have unequal heating of the surfaces there, creating enough twist in the atmosphere to generate this. And as it moved out over the water, and that heat was still in that column of air, causing that fire spout and water spout to pop up. You see those boaters going by? It's amazing. Just missing some of the embers and the ash falling from that firenado.
Well, maybe it's tossing some water on that fire there too, we're hoping. Bob, thanks for the explanation. As you prepare to head out to the beach this weekend, we have a warning about a surprising summer danger, and that's beach umbrellas, just how dangerous they are when swept up by the wind.
I'm Stephanie Roberts. Coming up Thursday at 9 a.m., New York's premier hip-hop improv troupe is performing at Florida Studio Theater. We'll get a preview, and we'll learn about the benefits of massage cupping therapy. That's all coming up Thursday morning at 9.
That is a pretty good breakfast. You're not even eating.
Not hungry.
No? Why not? What's up?
Kath and I knew that Jenny had been partying a bit. Found out she tried heroin.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
Ever since I can remember, I've been intrigued by industrial design and the optimization.
Wait, that's passion? Ever since I can remember, my passion has been industrial design. We need 3D printers for Miss Adams' engineering program so that we are ready to solve 21st century challenges.
Impressive. Think It Up is a new initiative to support student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classroom today? Think It Up.
We've all heard how military veterans adjusting to the civilian world may have certain issues.
30. 70.
If only everyone had this issue. No matter what challenge they face, Easter Seals is here for America's veterans.
Hello, Mom.
Amanda's mom's appointment just got rescheduled for today. Amanda needs right at home. Our customized care plan provides as much or as little help as her mom requires, whether it's a ride to the doctor or help around the house.
Oh, of course. Tom, I am really sorry. I've got to go.
Look, call right at home. Get the right care right at home.
Meet Blue. Blue's not feeling well. The prescription? Generic medication. Blue wonders, do they really work as well as name brands? Yes, generics and name brand medications do work the same. Even though they may look different, generics have the same key ingredients. FDA approval is equally rigorous for generics to make sure they're as safe and effective as name brands. And Blue even saves him green, making him a little less, well, blue. Talk to your doctor about generics and visit fda.gov/generic drugs.
pick me. Oh, come on, man. Oh man, I love technology. Hey, check out my new phone. Look at this right here. For years, the DeSoto Club has needed improvements. Join me and Boys and Girls Club of Manatee County as we raise money.
First thing many of you do when you get to the beach is stick your beach umbrella into the sand. Well, now new warnings about how incredibly dangerous they can be when wind picks them up and turns them into projectiles. On Monday, a woman in New Jersey was struck by a flying umbrella and one of its spokes pierced her ankle. She's now recovering, but in Virginia Beach back in 2016, an airborne umbrella killed a woman. A lifeguard captain urges people to secure all umbrellas in the sand by making sure it's at least 16 inches down.
You can either use a shovel to dig the hole deep enough to set the stake and pack it in, or once you drive the stake into the sand, rock it back and forth. That typically gets it in deeper into the sand.
Another good tip, make sure your umbrella is tilted towards the wind so a sudden gust won't send it into the sky. Well, we're just getting started here on ABC 7. Coming up at 5, the Florida Department of Health is investigating the death of a 71-year-old man that died after eating oysters at a local Sarasota restaurant. We will tell you about what you need to know about that bacteria and the warning signs to look out for. Now let's get back to Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan for a final look at our forecast. Bob?
Well, a lot of clouds out there, Scott, right now, and it looks like we may see some peaks of the sun as it sets tonight. Your beach walk should be variable clouds. The clouds mainly will look for a few showers like we're seeing right now rolling on shore. Just a few. Not everyone's going to get the rainfall this evening, but the sunset just after 8, and winds will be out of the southwest at around 10 miles an hour. We speak of the rain. It's heavier to the north of us, and that's going to be pretty much the case for the rest of the week and into the weekend, with the trough of low pressure in front of boundary just hanging on to the north. We're on the tail end of that. We're still going to get this onshore flow. We'll still be close enough to the lift of these two systems to bring us occasional showers and an isolated thunderstorm at times, but the flooding concerns I think will be to our north. And we will see some periods of heavy rainfall though, because the atmosphere is so moist all the way through it at all levels, that the showers that do pop up will produce some pretty heavy rain, torrential rain for a short period of time, and then move off to the northeast, so it shouldn't stick around all that long. We'll have more coming up at 5, Scott.
All right, Bob, thank you. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again at 5 o'clock.